Hello and welcome back to Football Daily, where we are celebrating the older generation by looking at 11 players getting better with age. All well into their 30s, these stars are putting the young guns to shame. Let's get into it. Goalkeeper Kasper Schmeichel. With his jet blonde hair and youthful appearance, people forget that Leicester City goalkeeper and Premier League winner Kasper Schmeichel is in fact 33 years old. Ever since his incredible title win in 2015-16, Schmeichel has gone on to establish himself as one of the best shot stoppers in the division. And the former Manchester City graduate now has over 470 league appearances to his name. And under the guidance of Brendan Rodgers this season, the Great Dane is looking as strong as ever. 2.6 saves per match may not appear that impressive, but Schmeichel plays behind statistically the best defence in the league, having only conceded 10 goals and kept 5 clean sheets. While Caglar Soyuncu and Johnny Evans have taken much of the plaudits this season, the fact stands that Leicester's expected goals against is just 13.5. And that highlights some of the vital saves Schmeichel has made so far. The Foxes will no doubt face greater challenges later in the season, but with Schmeichel in between the sticks, they will be confident they can overcome them. Defender Jesus Navas. Over the last 2 years, not many players have been enjoying their football as much as Sevilla legend Jesus Navas. Not only was he made club captain, Sevilla also named their training ground after him, before he scored twice for Spain against the Faroe Islands and Malta, ending a 6-year absence from the national team. Quite a turnaround from a winger who endured a solid, if not forgettable, 4-year stint at Manchester City. After scoring 4 and assisting 7 in his first season in England, Navas failed to find the back of the net in 93 further league games, despite contributing another 15 assists. By the time he returned to Sevilla in 2017, a club he has made an incredible 484 appearances for, at the time of writing, Guardiola had converted him into a fullback. And he may have to thank his old coach as he is thriving in defence. This season, his 0.23 expected assists per 90 is the second highest in the Andalusian squad, whilst his 3 tackles and clearances per game is his best return as a professional. Even at 33 years old, Navas doesn't appear to have lost any pace. And back at the club he adores, there is no guessing just how long he could go on for. Defender Thiago Silva. Captain of the side is Brazil and PSG legend Thiago Silva. Despite turning 35 in September, the centre-half is going from strength to strength as he enters his 8th season in France. As PSG's dominance grows, the amount of defensive work the Brazilian has had to do has fallen. His 2.6 clearances per game is below his career average of 5.6, the same for his interceptions. But his quality of tackle is as consistent as ever, and if anything has improved. Yet to be dribbled past this season, Silva has successfully completed all 17 tackles he's attempted, a ridiculously good return. And in classic Brazilian style, his ball playing stats are truly remarkable. In Europe, only Bayer Leverkusen's Sven Bender has attempted more passes than Silva's 86.7. But where the Brazilian trumps the German is pass accuracy, completing a huge 95% of his attempts. Thiago Silva has quite rightly been named in the Liga and Team of the Season for 7 consecutive seasons. And if he keeps up this form, then surely it'll be 8 come the end of the campaign. Defender Hilton. Clearly Brazilians know how to stay in shape because next to Thiago Silva is his fellow countryman and ultimate granddad of the team, Hilton. At 42 years old, the Montpellier centre-half is our oldest entry, but even more surprising than his age is just how well he's playing. Making 5.3 clearances and interceptions per game, his 1 block a match is also a career high, proving his positioning has never been so good. And Hilton has developed a creative spark in his old age. His 0.8 key passes a game this term is remarkable considering he's never averaged more than 0.3 in his career. Throughout his time in the south of France, he has showed no signs of ageing, only once making less than 30 appearances in a season in the last 9 years, when he played just 27 games in 17-18. When Hilton left Marseille to sign a 1-year deal with La Payade in 2011, it's safe to say the then 33-year-old never expected to become the club captain and make 274 league appearances for the side. And while he keeps proving that age is just a number, expect that appearance count to just continue growing. Defender Alexander Kolarov. Another former City man relishing life in his 30s is Serbian left-back Alexander Kolarov. Now 34 and in his 3rd season at Roma, he has never possessed such an attacking threat. With his signature left boot and free kick ability, Kolarov has already scored 4 times and assisted twice in 13 games this season. And this follows the 2018-19 campaign when he scored a career best 8 goals. Despite being a defender, only Edin Dzeko and Javier Pastore have a higher XG per game than the Serbs' 0.34. And only Lorenzo Pellegrini has bettered his 2 assists, while no outfield player has made more than his 1,110 minutes on the pitch this season, showing just how important he is to the Giallorossi. But it's not just in attack where he's improved. Never a player you'd want to mess with. His 2.2 tackles and interceptions per game is a significant improvement on his 0.8 last season. His dribbles and blocks have increased as well, suggesting he is becoming a complete defender. While his hair may have turned grey, in reality Kolarov is looking as sharp as ever. Midfielder David Silva. When David Silva calls time on his Manchester City career this season, they will not only lose a club legend but a player still performing at the peak of his powers. In his decade in North England, the Spaniard has become a true revelation, making almost 400 appearances at the time of writing and having won countless titles and trophies. Approaching his 34th birthday, you would assume he had taken a step back in the team, but instead Silva has continued to up his game, having already scored 3 and assisted 4 in 11 league games this season. His current expected goals per 90 rate has never been higher at 0.44, whilst his combined expected goals and assists per 90 of 0.77 is a career best. It even trumps his 2014-15 season when he managed 12 goals and 7 assists, currently his highest return for City. And with his current shots per game and pass success rate all coming in above his career average, Silva is clearly looking to finish in style. Make no mistake, whichever club the Spanish star joins next will be getting a truly world-class player showing no signs of slowing down. Midfielder João Moutinho. When João Moutinho decided to leave the glitzy streets of Monaco for the windy hills of Wolverhampton, little did he know how well it would suit him. Moutinho arrived in England already aged 32, having won numerous titles in Portugal and France, including the 2017 Ligue 1 title. But, now 33, the 5'7" playmaker is arguably putting in his finest performances yet in his toughest league to date. An all-round midfielder, Moutinho has made a name for himself as an asset both in defence and attack. He has a career average of 3.5 tackles and interceptions per game, while he's maintained a key pass per 90 rate of 1.73 at Monaco, scoring 9 goals in his time there. Rather than be overawed by the fast pace of the Premier League, Moutinho has risen to the challenge. Last year he recorded a career-high 2.5 key passes per 90, and has followed his 8 assists last year with 3 in 12 appearances already this campaign. And he is getting stuck in more than ever, averaging 5.3 tackles and interceptions per 90. The engine of this Wolves side, Moutinho's form shows no sign of dipping anytime soon. Midfielder Miguel Veloso. Joining Moutinho in the heart of the midfield is fellow countryman Miguel Veloso. But whereas the Wolverhampton man has been a top performer for years, the latter seems to be peaking as he approaches 34. After spending most of his career at Genoa and then in Ukraine with Dinamo Kiev, the Portuguese international had only managed more than 4 goals and assists in a single season once in the last decade. Even his defensive stats have been uninspiring, with a career average of 2.9 tackles and interceptions per 90. But now back in Serie A with Hellas Verona, Veloso looks set for his best season to date. Averaging 3.2 tackles and interceptions per game, an increase on 2.1 last season, his 1.5 shots per game is also his most since 2013. And despite normally averaging 1.6 key passes per 90, this season that has risen to 2.2. As a result, Veloso has been one of the standout players in the Italian top tier, already managing 2 goals and 2 assists in just 10 games from a holding role. Sometimes good things come to those who wait, and Miguel Veloso's moment to shine has finally arrived. Midfielder Santi Cazorla. You would be hard pushed to find any football fan who isn't pleased about Santi Cazorla's incredible resurgence at the age of 34. Having joined Arsenal from Villarreal in the summer of 2012, Cazorla quickly became a fan favourite, before injury in the 15-16 campaign abruptly halted his career. The situation became so severe he nearly lost his foot, when he contracted gangrene which began eating away at his tendon in his right ankle. After playing just 32 games in all competitions between 2015 and 2018, he returned to Villarreal before the 18-19 season, with many sceptical about if he could ever really recover. But so far Cazorla has made a mockery of both his injury and age. With 5 goals and 4 assists from 14 appearances this season, he is closing in on his career best 23 goal contributions, which he achieved in 2012-13. And the Gunners will be ruining the loss of the Spaniard, with only Real Madrid's Toni Kroos bettering his 2.9 key passes per 90 in La Liga. Recalled to the national team, fitness provided, he will be one of the first names on their team sheet come Euro 2020. A true class act, Cazorla is making up for lost time in style. Forward, Jamie Vardy. The gift that keeps on giving, Jamie Vardy may well be on the cusp of powering Leicester City to an unlikely second league title in 5 years. Despite turning 33 in January, the Leicester legend is in the form of his life, leading the Premier League scoring charts with 16 goals. What makes his scoring record even more incredible is his freakishly high conversion rate. Scoring just under 40% of his attempts, he's managing a goal every 2.6 shots. By contrast, Tammy Abraham takes 4.9 shots per goal, almost double. Under Brendan Rodgers, the Englishman looks well placed to break his Premier League record 24 goals in a season, set in the title-winning year, while he needs just 6 more to reach 100 in the top division. If Leicester are serious about maintaining a title challenge this season, it's vital Vardy stays fit. Involved in 39% of all his team goals, the most for an individual in the league, the majority of the Foxes' attacks go through the forward. With his pace showing no signs of dropping and his competitiveness as present as ever, Jamie Vardy has never appeared so deadly. Forward. Christian Stuani. A man who is fully embracing football in his 30s, Girona striker Christian Stuani has been the surprise package in Spain over the last few years. When the 6'1" Uruguayan joined the newly promoted Spanish side before the 2016-17 season, little would assume he would go on to become a goal-scoring sensation. 2 seasons with Middlesbrough had yielded just 16 goals. While aside from a bumper year a decade ago in the Spanish second tier, where he scored 22 for Albacete, Stuani had never reached double figures in the league more than once in Europe. But with age comes wisdom, and the 33-year-old has channeled all his experience to good use as he continues to find the net for the Catalonian side. 21 goals in 17-18 was followed by 19 league strikes a year later, and Stuani currently sits on 12 goals from 13 games, albeit in the second tier again. In both seasons in La Liga, the Uruguayan exceeded his XG of 0.5 per 90, meaning he was expected to score every other game. Barcelona came calling, but Stuani stayed loyal to their Highland neighbours, clearly enjoying his newfound success in his twilight years. And that's it for our 11 of players who are getting better with age. Is there anyone we missed? Drop them down in the comments below. And as always, like and subscribe to Football Daily. Cheers.